Welcome to a new update in which we're going to discuss the altcoins at this point once again, and we're going to discuss the outlook for Ethereum. But first, we're going to discuss banks, as the banks are currently looking quite bad. What are we looking at in terms of the price action of the market? Before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also check out our free trade letter and our premium membership where you can follow my portfolio and other traders. But at this point, we are looking at a case where the markets might be looking at a further correction or at least a period of consolidation, as we can see that Ethereum has been correcting due to the fact that Ethereum was called a security in the KuCoin case, as the New York area has been attacking KuCoin for its fact that it has been trading with securities, and they call Ethereum a security, which is an attack to the entire blockchain system. Now, when we're looking at banks, before we continue, we also know that banks are currently looking at a case similar to the Lehman Brothers. So what have you been seeing? We have been seeing a case where here in September 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed, which is in terms of price action relatively the same as what we have been witnessing currently with the Nasdaq. What is the fact right now? We are currently in a market where the federal funds rate has been rallying substantially in the past year, which means that Powell has been hiking massively. So he has been doing the fastest hiking procedure ever, resulting into the federal funds rate going from 1 to 5%, potentially to 6%. This, as a result, has been showing that the bond markets have been collapsing. So what we have been seeing here is that the 2-year yield has been accelerating quite fast, hence the underlying government bond is going to drop substantially in value, through which banks who are required to hold a certain amount of bonds have been getting into trouble. That's what is happening right now with Silicon Valley. And also we know that Silvergate is in trouble, but that has more to do with FTX at this point. So when we're looking at the price action of the Nasdaq at this point, we can arguably tell that we are on the edge of a potential move, which means that in 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed in September of 2008, and the actual crash took place afterwards because contagion risk, more other banks were getting into trouble. That is also the risk right now, given that there is a bank run going on at the Silicon Valley Bank as people are withdrawing their funds. And as you might know, banks don't have that much in terms of cash in their platform or in their bank itself, which means that there is a current crash taking place on the actual bank, which you can find through the ticker SIVB. Currently, the price is valued at 39 points, which is a drop of another 60% on Friday. It has been dropping from 283 to 39, and basically it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So markets are crashing and markets are correcting at this point. So if we recall from 2008, the actual crash taking place there on the Nasdaq and on the indices took place after Lehman Brothers were falling apart. What also has been happening is that the Fed has to pivot at this point. So right now the contagion risk is going to be increasing. There is going to be a bailout procedure most likely. There's also going to be a pivot taking place, as the entire hiking procedure is also causing the same effect on multiple other banks, and there's the contagion risk. So simply put, Powell cannot continue with its entire policy, but until that we most likely have a crash taking place before we actually can anticipate a rally to happen. So we are into a bad state. Right now the Nasdaq is still consolidating quite nicely here. It's just a matter of time before we can see multiple other banks starting to fall apart as well. What does that mean for Bitcoin and crypto? Well, we've seen the other news, which was inducing that Ethereum is called a security. People are getting taxed on Bitcoin when they mine in the US. If the energy is used for mining Bitcoin, they get 30% tax on it. And we see more attacks at this point coming from the US on crypto because they feel that crypto is a threat for their society and for their financial system. This means that most likely, if the indices are going to collapse from here, crypto is going to have another drop taking place, which means that we sweep the low before we can continue moving. What are we looking at in terms of Ethereum? Ethereum could be doing that as well. If you are looking for potential positions, you might want to look at a potential retest around 1485 or 1545 for short opportunities, and on the other hand you can look for long opportunities around 1250 to 1300. If those are not going to hold, you are going to see an entire sweep of this low and a cascade, but that is probably going to be induced by the indices, resulting into new lows, and then you're looking at $800 to $1,000 for potential entries. If we do reclaim 1550, that is the moment that you could say, hey, the trend continues and we're going to get into a state of new highs. That's the update for today. I'll be back tomorrow with a fresh new one. Ciao.